And then just last year, that someone from the Daily News, a young girl that knew Bobby, she called, and it was the same. I don't know. It was just like the one from the Inquirer. They wanted to hear from family members. Oh, I hope the person died, burns in hell for eternity. One of those type of things. It's how happy I am that Osama bin Laden is dead. Well, she's basically asked me the same thing, and I gave her the same story, and I told her my story basically. And she just came out, and this is the exact word she said to me. She said, the Pentagon would never allow us to do that. I mean,
and this was a friend of Bobby.
This is from the Daily News. And
she was a friend of Bobby's.
Oh, she knew of him because, she wasn't a friend. She just knew of him because of, I think she went to Upper Dublin, which was Bobby's school.
And she said that the Pentagon would not allow
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I said, and that's when she said, I'd better get out of this field.
Well, we talk when we go out to breakfast. we talk, and we always come to this revelation that the biggest problem, or one of the biggest problems in this country, is our corporate media. And I try to figure out how the control is done, and is it an atmosphere of fear of losing one's job? Because that's happened before. Robert Scheer wrote an article for the LA Times called What We Don't Know About 9/11 Hurts Us, and he was fired. He also wrote against the Iraq War and was fired. Anyway, is it an atmosphere of dissenting?
Well, John, go ahead.
Let me just, is it because 6 major companies own the majority of the mainstream media and the owners have that much control? Is it the advertisers that they don't want to piss off? And is it the government using a form of control? And I think it's all of the above.
Well, I think it's the government, period. It's just, right. And of course the people that own it, and that transfers down to the editors. And, it's happened to me with the New York Times. I was supposed to do an interview. Star Ledger was going to come up in New York Times. They wanted to do an interview with me, with a bunch of children from, it was the London Times, I'm sorry. They were going to send people over from London and talk to me. And I told them what I was going to talk about. Look, end of story. No way in the world they were going to do that.
So people understand, the corporate media.
People that own it, and the government won't allow it. But in the case of the Inquirer and the Daily News, they will be fired. First of all, they won't be able to get it out. So the woman quit. She couldn't get that out. It still has to go through the editor. It has to go through a process. And who are the editors? Well, of course, they're controlled by the owners. And the owners, they're part of the system. And, and you only have 6 owners. That is the problem. I don't know if it's fear, because they don't even get to the point of fear, because you can't get the articles out. Obviously, Scheer got the article out. I don't know how he did it, but in my case, it's that, London, they wouldn't allow it because I have a different opinion. They just wanted a rah-rah story. You know what I mean? So,
well, people have to understand the media, the corporate media over the years. First, they ignored us. We talked about, or I mentioned in my personal bio of you, that they had the 9/11 omission hearings, and I think there were hundreds of people there and multiple speakers. And did that get any news coverage? No. It got none. Absolutely none. So the media first ignored us, and then they went into attack mode once the 9/11 report was released. And all they did was attack those that were questioning the 9/11 attacks. First, they painted them as unpatriotic. And then, they said that we were crazy. And then they tried to tie us to murderers. And, every time somebody with a voice would speak out, somebody like Rosie O'Donnell, it was amazing to me that in unison, the networks, the CNNs, the Fox News, the MSNBC, whatever, were all attacking Rosie O'Donnell because she questioned how Building 7 came down or something like that. And that's all they've done. I mean, just now we're starting, the 28 redacted pages people are starting to get a little bit of press, and, some people question that. Why are they getting so much press? But I honestly believe that it's just because it's been so long and the families have been fighting so hard and they've gone through so many things over the years to get those pages released, and they're finally getting some traction. And I guess that's why it's getting some coverage.
Well, In my opinion, let me tell you a quick story of Helen and I when we were down at Ground Zero after the ceremonies, or the dedication and all that, and we're waiting for Bobby's friends to come. We were sitting down there by, Building 7, and a couple came up to us, and they were from Moscow, and I had done the DVD in Moscow. A lot of people had seen it, and they had seen it, and they came up, shook my hand, told me their names, and said they were from Moscow. And the first thing they said, or after the conversation, they said, you think you have freedom of press in this country? So it's so much better in Russia. I mean, one thing we do know that we're being lied to many times, but the press in the United States is just so bad. And I always relay that. Our press is so bad. I think it's better in China than it is here. People keep talking about freedom of press, but it's a lost cause. We are living in 1984 right now, the book 1984. And it's a disgrace, absolute disgrace. They're all whores, they're all cowards, and they get paid big bucks, and that's what they do.
I just looked at Reporters Without Borders, and we're ranked 46th in the world for freedom of
that's a pretty good rank. We shouldn't be ranked even that. And that's
right.
They should be, for what we were supposed to be doing, it's just it's a disgrace.
Absolutely, the corporate media
all
is
ashamed of themselves.